Jennifer Witt. I am a mom. I have a son, Abram, who is the best. I am an oncology nurse. I love being a part of patients' lives and getting to know them and being a witness to what they are going through and trying to find anything I can do to help just bring hope and be of hope to patients. I am also a wife of my husband, Colin Witt. He passed away in February of 2020 after fighting lymphoma. He loved ArtForce, Iowa. And he loved that youth could be seen as more than any mistake they ever made or the bad things that had been done to them. And he valued the way in which ArtForce could not only help kids find their voice, but affirm who they are and who they were capable of becoming, and to help them heal through the trauma and again, find ways, positive ways that maybe they didn't even know themselves that they would be good at or would be interested in, to again, just find ways to heal and give voice to the trauma that they've been through, but also to start that process of healing and find hope, and to know that maybe where they're at now does not define who they're going to be or who they can be in the future. Colin was this bigger than life figure, and he meant so many things to so many people. Colin lived so intentionally, and he lived out loud. He wore crazy socks, he was goofy, he was kind, and he was lovely, and he cared deeply about other people. And that's really his legacy. He loved getting to know people, and beyond surface, he loved fellowship. He loved to mentor. He loved to shepherd young men. And he loved to just help people find a way through, whatever that was, whether that was basketball, whether that was in his courtroom. He believed that together we are each other's harvest, right? He felt that his role as a juvenile court judge was sacred, and it was noble work. And it really was ultimately about problem solving. How do we come together? How do we make the justice system fair and accessible? But how can we also show mercy and be kind and honor each other's dignity? Make it a place where let's just sit down and talk, and let's learn about each other, and let's find out how we can get from A to B and beyond. Colin dove for second chances. Colin dove for the underdog. Colin dove for any opportunity where people could come together and collaborate. And then it wasn't just about that. He wanted to honor and raise up those people, whether it was the social workers or the JCOs or community partners like ArtForce, who could find a way, in a positive way, in an innovative way, to say, how can we help kids? How can we help each other? How can we help people move again from this place of darkness to a place of light and hope? And Colin was that. He lived his values. He lived his faith steadfastly. He was humble, and he was kind, and he was big and goofy and funny, and he was ours, and we love him very much. He had a piece of artwork. It was a beautiful, I think it was a photo that a young person had taken almost like at twilight, and it's a bird. It's a beautiful picture, and he had it framed. It's in the courthouse. He loved when kids would share about the things they loved, whether it was art or photos or the books. As he got to know kids in his courtroom or their families, again, it wasn't about their case. These were not kids who were labeled in his mind. It was, tell me who you are. What matters to you? What do you hope to achieve here? But what about big picture questions? When the youth's art and or words are displayed, I just think it affirms and validates where they are, where they've been, who they are, and also the empathy that it creates in others and the deeper understanding if we're willing to be curious. And that was something Colin was so intentional about, was how do we have to be curious because we have to care. Any way he could honor the kids who created those pieces and let them know, hey, you matter, your work matters, your voice matters, to see it, especially in this space that can be so adversarial and us against them. He tried very hard in everything he did that things were never an us against them. I think the most simplest way that people can honor Colin's legacy is he persisted in love. He would see darkness every day, but he also saw such light. And he tried to be that to others, to be kind. That's it. It's that simple, actually, and sadly, it's that hard. But to just be kind to one another, to make space for one another. He persisted in love. Colin believed in second chances, and he believed in redemption and healing and hope. And he believed in his heart of hearts that, again, you are not defined, and you should not believe in the lie or the label that's been placed on you for whatever reason, or even if it's your own choosing at this moment. But your worst thing does not define who you are, and that you are capable of so much more if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to believe it. When after Colin passed away, there was a prayer that was sent to me, and it has always stuck with me, to be the things that we loved about Colin, right? So to give his love away. And I think that's how we will continue to honor him, to continue to do good anyway, even when it's hard, to continue to show up for each other, even when it's hard or inconvenient, to continue to just listen and bear witness to, and to do the hard things and to do hard better. The story can't end there. It's too big, and it's too, it doesn't end. That light is still here. His love remains everywhere in so many wonderful ways. And I like to call it our love giving away project. Our cornerstone with Restoring Hope was, again, how can we again serve within the juvenile court system? So one of the things, again, that was so important to Colin was books. He loved to read. He loved to share books and poetry with kids. Reading opens not only to adventure and curiosity, but it allows you to better understand the lived experience of someone else, and to gain a different perspective, and to grow in your ability to be empathetic, and to see a world that maybe is very different than your own, but to bear witness to the humanity of others, right? And so it just mattered to us that books had to be a part of it. Restoring Hope allowed us to start the Mighty Oaks Giving Libraries, and we have one in each of the juvenile courtrooms at Polk County, and then also at the Drake Legal Clinic. And we've been blessed, two other judges, one in Northeast Iowa and one in Southeast Iowa, who both cover about 5 counties of outreach of juvenile work. These are books that they can freely give. Youth can pick them out. They can be given as an award, kind of to recognize how hard they've been working or progress towards their goals. Adoptions. They've also just been there to kind of help people connect with one another. And what's been neat to see is that the judges will talk with them about the books, and the kids will not really give a book report, but they'll talk about what it meant to them. And what we've tried very hard to do is curate books that really reflect who the youth is. What are their experiences, who they are, the issues, and that they truly face. But there's always a level of how they can heal and face adversity and be transformed through this process. That, again, they don't have to be defined by what brought them into juvenile court, but it's more important about who they're going to become and what they're capable of becoming. And so books are taken, I know, by the juvenile court officers. They share them at the shelters, at the detention centers. Feedback we've gotten is just how important the kids feel seen, they feel heard, and it's allowed for connections that maybe couldn't have happened or wouldn't have happened so maybe organically and helped the teams grow. The other piece of Restoring Hope then is how do we then honor and help in whatever way we can and collaborate with community organizations like ArtForce Iowa that are supporting the work done in juvenile court and helping these kids, again, to find their voice, to heal, and to find hope in who they can become moving forward.